they do the box office next weekend. Doctor Strange is coming out, so this is a very, 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 very bad and slow weekend. I don't know why I didn't put any new releases today. Again, it's for the proof that Disney has a monopoly over movies because no, not even the weekend before Doctor Strange, companies are so scared that they might lose by the next week that they're gonna release stuff. And there is one new release, which is another generic Liam Neeson film that no one's gonna watch, which is hilarious that he keeps making the same movie over and over and over again, and no one is, and people are less interested each time. So first is The Bad Guys, which is doing pretty well for not being based off any franchise whatsoever. This movie is probably gonna make back its money at the end of the day. It had abysmal ratings at the beginning, but it's doing pretty well. And considering there's no other family movies for a while, yep, that like last time, there's no movies between this and, of course, the other movie, right? Yeah, okay. Of course, families are going to see Doctor Strange probably, you know, as well. I don't know if Starbright is one, but yeah, Starbright could be the next like major one. But yeah, Doctor Strange, of course, is probably gonna hoggle out of that anyways. But for people who want to see animated movies, this is the only movie between this and Lightyear. Outside, of course, streaming movies, which we're not counting. We're only talking about theoretical movies. Movies in the theaters. Okay. Okay, 2022 schedule. Release schedule. Okay, yeah. Memory, release today. Doctor Strange. Family Camp. I don't know what rating that is, but yeah. Bob Starboy is releasing. I don't think anyone cares. But out of like big movies, yeah, it's really nothing between that and White Yell. Also, Brian's House is trying to compete against White Yell. Good luck doing that because they compete with the big bad mouse. So, you know, which, despite though being a boycott of Disney, it seems that most people are not really gonna boycott Disney, basically. As they're saying, because Doctor Strange is still projected to make a lot of money, White Ear is still projected to make a lot of money, which means you're really not making any difference if you do boycott Disney at all. But yeah, Bad Guys is doing really, really well. Okay, yeah, $118 million, so doing pretty well again, especially not being attached to any it is actually based off a book, but it's not attached to any major franchise. It's not, the Bad Guys is not really well known, compared to others, or compared to like Sonic or something. Okay, Sonic is number two, which beat out Fantastic Beasts, which again no one gives a shit about Fantastic Beasts. This movie is gonna pass the original this weekend. Okay, and you know what's good is that the Sonic movie is actually actually giving a crap about what the fans are saying and not what Rotten Tomatoes is saying. Okay, the establishment critics who gave the movie a 68%, 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. Even though they'll give, Booksmart a 97%, they'll give Cuties a 88%, they'll give Tony Red a 95%. They'll give all those pieces of trash that high scores, but, they'll give Sonic a 67%, which is completely ridiculous and, completely absurd. Okay, this movie should have a 90+% on Rotten Tomatoes. But of course, the critics don't like Sonic. I think the critic score did impact the ratings of the movie despite the fans loving the movie. Or it's the fact, and again, it's doing basically like every other big blockbuster where it has a big opening. And of course, because of that huge opening, it does basically like the bomb of ratings like Scream did, and like Venom did, Black Widow, F9, basically doing like every other big blockbuster would do at the box office. So this is actually just normal for a big blockbuster overall. So yeah. Next is Fantastic Beasts, which no update on the international sales yet, but this movie's doing a bit. It's gonna pass 300 million worldwide, but I don't think even the international box office will save it because Doctor Strange is coming out next week, which will definitely just end this movie's potential of box office as well. So yeah, this movie is doing abysmally. I think the whole Johnny Depp thing, him being replaced, and the whole Ezra Miller controversies really killed this movie the chances at making money at the box office. So, yeah. Next is the Northmen, which, they haven't updated the international sales, but having pretty decent rigs for a movie of its caliber. Again, it really depends on how this movie does internationally. Again, it is 11 o'clock, so they have not really updated the international sales for any of these movies. These I think this movie might make money for international. It only made $41 million, but this movie has a $90 million budget, but it needs to make $180 million. That's a lot of money it needs to make. If it makes money in like Europe, it might make money in Europe, but we don't know if that will happen. It's not a non-franchise movie, which again, that is in this modern box office is a hindrance on any movie releasing. Okay, if the bad guys are some big massive franchise movie, it will open 80 plus million. Okay, 80 plus million. It will end it over $200 million, or at least open to 40 plus million like Fantastic Beasts and Ghostbusters did and Dune did. Okay, but it's not a franchise movie, which hindered its box office potential. Hindered its box office potential in this day and age, which is a very, very sad thing. That's the way it is. But yep, next is Everything Everywhere at Once. For some reason, this movie continues to make money. For some reason, despite not being a part of a franchise, this movie continues to have small drops at the box office, despite not being based off anything, which is pretty impressive, especially not being a part of any franchise and not being a part of any huge, massive blockbuster franchise. I think it's safe to say this movie will make back whatever budget it had for this movie. But yeah, this movie's gonna probably make money as well. So yeah, next is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Again, it seems that, despite Nicolas Cage, despite all the memes of him, it seems that memes don't sell movies, okay? This is basically about Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, and people just don't care, okay? Which means Nicolas Cage's fan base may not be as big as you think. Of course, if this was a big franchise movie, it would have made a lot of money, but of course, this is not a franchise movie, therefore, it's not going to make money at the box office as well. And also, this movie released against the Northmen and the Bad Guys as well, where it's ate into this movie's potential box office as well. Well, so yeah. Next is The Lost City, which for a non-franchise film, yeah, the numbers is actually behind on the international box. It's like 30 million or something. But yeah, the international box office is starting to catch up with this movie, but will it be enough? Okay, what happened this week and that last week will be enough to salvage the lack of international box office for this movie like The Boss Baby? Because Lost City had a very strange international release date schedule. There's like The Boss Baby. Okay, why did they wait until October to release the movie in the UK? Okay, it makes no sense. Okay, it makes no sense how sometimes these studios handle the international box office. They should realistically release it all at once, with the exception of some delays in languages possibly. But yeah, they should try to release it as all at once instead of saying, "Oh yeah, you have to wait a month if you live in the UK to watch this movie." It just makes no sense, okay? And that's why The Boss Baby 2 failed at the box office, because they waited so long to release The Boss Baby internationally, okay? When the movie's already on streaming services, it's already, can be paid on streaming services. And of course, I figured that people are going to pilot the movie if it's on because it's on Peacock, okay? They really done goofed on that one, but yep, The Lost City. They waited so long to release this internationally. They waited so long, and now it might pay the price for like The Boss Baby did. Next is Beverly, another Liam Neeson thriller. So excited, said no one ever. And yeah, Liam Neeson's like 70 now, and he's still making these, generic thriller movies that, literally nobody wants to see. Okay, literally no one wants to see his generic thriller movies. Okay. And this movie is going to be a box office failure. That's like his last thriller they released. It got extremely bad reviews and literally no one watched it. Okay, as well. Next is Father Stew, which again, this movie doesn't have any international sales. It's going to be pretty bad for this movie. Again, if you want to see more movies like this, okay, say if it was The Northman, say if it was any non-franchise movies, you guys had to actually, okay, I'm not a free to go, but people who actually go to the theaters and see movies, instead of seeing the big, massive blockbuster movies, you guys, but I want to see more like the Northman, but you won't see it. Okay, that's the problem. If you want to see more like it, okay, you should either pre-order on Blu-ray like I did, or watch it in the theaters. Okay, no excuses. Okay, no excuses. But I have to see Doctor Strange. I have to see Jurassic World. I have to see this big blockbuster, huge franchise movie, because those matter more than the independent movies. This is why these independent, non-franchise movies don't make money. This is why. Okay, this is exactly why. Because people want to see the big blockbuster. And I'll go over this after this. Next is Morbius again. This movie. This movie. It didn't make it. It's gonna probably make money, but it's gonna barely make any money. It's doing like Dark Phoenix numbers at the box office. Okay, which is the most hilarious thing ever. That this movie still made more money than Dark Phoenix, but this movie is doing a biz movie, and once Doctor Strange comes out, this movie is just gonna lose most of its theaters, basically. Okay. Next is Ambulance, which had an okayest hold. It's again, non-franchise. It also has a director that's completely hated by everybody attached to it. Okay. That's a recipe for disaster. Okay. This movie was a recipe for disaster. Michael Bay, not a part of a franchise, therefore it's gonna flop. Okay. It might be a good movie, but it's not. It has Michael Bay in it as directing, and it's not a part of a big franchise. And yeah, they didn't really advertise it at all either. So yeah, this is a failure as well. And yeah, I will touch about the whole problem. Okay, this is a problem. Okay, again, the normies, they don't want to see anything that's not a part of a franchise. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, Doctor. Okay, now I'll show you the problem. Okay, Doctor Bad Guy Stop Second Weekend. There is a problem. Okay, I know a lot of people are excited for Doctor Strange. Okay, I know this will piss off the Marvel normies. Okay, but it's another sequel, another franchise movie that's gonna be the big movie of the year. That's gonna be the big movies of the year. Okay, 10 years ago, non-franchise movies stood up on their own. They stood up on their own against the big franchises. Okay, but now we don't have that anymore. We don't, Christopher Nolan can't even make a movie that can make money anymore. That's how sad it has gotten. Okay. Even directors like Christopher Nolan and Steven Spielberg can't make money anymore because they want to explore movies that are not part of a franchise. But they can't anymore because of Marvel, Star Wars, and all these big franchises that can't, steal their money, basically. And, of course, inflation's the big problem. Okay, we all know the big problem is because you guys voted in, a president that didn't solve any of the problems that, he said he would, but he didn't solve any of the problems, of course. Causing this high inflation, okay? But, and again, it's going to cause, but it's going to cause, people say, you're either going to watch, this big franchise blockbuster or the non-franchise blockbuster. Okay, and they're going to pick most normies, every time out of 10, are gonna pick the big franchise blockbuster because those are the more because they don't want to miss out. They don't want to miss out on the public conversation. Okay, they don't want to they don't want to be the loser in the public conversation. Oh, you went to go see the Northmen? What a loser! You sort of saw Doctor Strange. It's the big movie of the year. You didn't see Doctor Strange You saw this non-franchise movie that as well. It's just it's just so sickening how society thinks right now. Okay, and it's this whole idea, this whole thing, it is gonna implode on itself eventually. This whole thing is gonna fall on this, and these non-franchise movies are gonna become cult classics in the future because you guys just want to see Doctor Strange. You guys just want to see these big franchise movies, and yeah, I want to see them too, but they basically just overshadow the non-franchise movies anymore. Okay, compare movies to games. Okay, a lot of non-franchise games, do really well and get decent fan bases. They get decent, they get, you might hate Final Fantasy phase and stuff like that, like I do, but at least they are not, at least it's not, the same old, okay? At least gaming, people give new franchises, new IPs a chance, okay? And film and entertainment, they don't do that. They don't do that. They don't do that at all, okay? They don't do. And the Northmen is just another perfect example of it. They don't give these non-franchise movies a chance. They don't even give them a chance to do well. And they just tumble and flop. But to the people who do, they're the ones that are carrying movies like The Bad Guys, Northman, Raw City, Dog. Okay, movies that don't have that baggage behind them, which is being a part of a franchise. Okay, being a part of a big, massive franchise, a big blockbuster. Okay, there. But yep, done with the rant over. Doctor Strange, again, is gonna make money because it's a part of the Marvel franchise. And, Roland Emmerich is basically right when he said, oh, Marvel's ruining cinema, and people go after him. Even though it is very, very true. Okay, Marvel and Star Wars and the big franchises. It's not just Marvel and Star Wars, it's the big franchise movies. Toy Story is another one. Jurassic Park, even though as much as I like Jurassic Park series, Jurassic Park Jurassic World, as well. Those are other big franchises that are getting. Yep, we're getting yet another Toy Story movie because Disney likes to milk that series to death. And it's still gonna make $1 billion because, oh, it's Toy Story. I have to see it because nostalgia. But movies like Northman, it's not a part of anything. Don't want to watch it. Okay, that's basically the problem here. Okay, as well. So that's basically about this video. Goodbye.